And one more topic. There was the following question in the last broadcast. Why hasn't the Global Predictor shut down the FCT channel on YouTube yet? In this regard, we are receiving a lot of messages, indignations related to the question. Does the Global Predictor need our analytics?
Our analytics is needed, but the real issue is not that. What are these indignations based on? Pyakin directly admits that he works for the global elite. You see, he does analytics on purpose. This is one thing when people who don't know the conception of social safety, who didn't read the books by the internal predictor say it. But it is a different story when it is said by people pretending to be a guru conceptual. So I want to ask, guys, have you read anything written by the internal predictor? Have you read about such a law of time, which describes the renewal of information at the social and biological levels? Do you understand that it describes exactly what I said? The time when governance was based on hermeticism has passed. Today, hermeticism doesn't satisfy anyone because it constrains even itself. What is needed then? Today, governance should be done openly. Information modules should be put together in such a way that it convinces your opponent to act favorably towards you. That is how Putin makes it work, and that is exactly what I have said. You have to show that your opponent's problems can be solved this way and not any other. This is an indicator of governance. I have been blamed. He surrendered to the global elite. Guys, you would read at least some books by the internal predictor. Here's what I'm talking about. I repeat, analytics should be presented and the information field should be formed in such a way that your potential opponent planning to destroy you understood that this is the only way to solve his problem. For example, there is a ship in the open sea with a broken engine. Only one man knows how to repair the engine, but the repairing itself can be accomplished by other men on the ship. As a result, all survive. In that regard, our analytics is useful for the global elite. They repair their engines. They conduct the governance of the world. As a result, by following our recommendations, they lower the crisis level of their own governance and, simultaneously, are already working in our interests, represented in our analytics. Without our analytics, they cannot sort out what is wrong with that engine, what needs to be repaired. Just learn and master the writings by the internal predictor of the USSR. Otherwise, as I say, some wanting to be gurus, but in reality don't know even the law of time.
This was the last question.
Necessity for practical knowledge of governance laws and rules for governance of complex social supersystems becomes apparent now. It is not enough to read a book, it is not enough to recite it. The material must be mastered and used in practice. Knowledge is power, and that power can be mastered. How does governance look in everyday life? Any recommendations, any orders are more likely to be followed if the boss giving those recommendations and orders has authority based on knowledge, the knowledge of the correct approach to the problem and the best ways to solve it. If the boss is a fool and doesn't know the problem he is responsible for, then all his subordinates try to sabotage his orders. If the boss knows how to solve the problem, then his subordinates follow his orders gladly, because they know that it makes the organization function better with higher efficiency, revenue. Therefore, the quality of life of every organization's member will increase. Also, every organization is familiar with the next scenario. A boss doesn't know the problem, but there is a certain specialist who does. Moreover, everybody seeks this specialist's advice. Why? He describes the problem correctly and sufficiently fully in order to solve the problem. There are complaints. Why openly expose that knowledge? I want to answer that. It is impossible to work on the base of hermeticism. Our enemies must be filled in, must be explained that they have no reason to kill us because they would destroy the base for their own survival in the future. That they need to support our efforts by conducting themselves the certain way. If they don't do that, they will make it worse for themselves. That is an indicator of effective governance, and it works everywhere. That is why I say, master the knowledge of the conception of social safety, the sufficiently general theory of governance. Protect your own interests and the interests of your family. You will change mass statistics by doing that. That will lead to the change in the whole country and ensure the crisis-free future for you and your children. A peaceful sky over your head. I repeat, one serves their own interests to the measure of their understanding, while to the measure of non-understanding, one serves the interests of someone who knows and understands more. Expand the circle of your comprehension. Know and understand more. Study the books by the internal predictor of the USSR, but only those published before June 2018. Only those books explain the principles of governance of complex social supersystems. Master that knowledge, and based on that, protect your interests and the interests of your family. Peaceful skies over your head. Happiness. Until next time.